How's it going? This is Hoiman, and today we're taking a look at the S.H.Figuarts Cure Ace figure. So this is again another web exclusive figure, but you still get the window to see the figure inside. And on the top you have pictures of the figure, same for both the sides. And then legal stuff for the bottom. And then on the back you have various pictures of the figure. And then more legal stuff as well. And then this is quite a big box, and that's just because of her design with the hair on the back. But to open the box, just lift open the side flap. And then you just lift open the front cover. And there's the figure all together with her accessories. So first you do get some instructions showing what the figure comes with and how to operate the accessories. So here's the actual figure itself, and I think for the most part this figure is a bit of an improvement over the other Doki Doki Precure figures. And overall the figure does feel a bit more sturdy and solid. And overall the sculpt is really nice. It does look like the character really well, and then all the small details and paintwork is very nice and clean for the most part as well. But I do have one major gripe with the figure, and I'll get to that in a bit. But for now, I feel that they captured the likeness of the character really well. It looks just like her. And then you have a really iconic red hair. And then these fringes here are slightly solid, so they do feel really delicate, so you have to be careful with handling them. And then you have the nice crown here, which is nicely sculpted, and a nice use of gold metallic paint. And then you move on to her hair, just this really massive ponytail with 4 large pieces of hair. And for the most part, it is sculpted really nice. You can see all the twirls and strands in there. And then there's even like very light dark shading to kind of bring out the depth a bit more. But there are seam lines that run all the way through each hair. And it does look a bit distracting, and it can detract from the figure a bit. And the seam line runs all the way on the inside as well. So it does look a bit odd and can detract from the figure, but it isn't super noticeable. And like the other Doki Doki figures, this figure has hollow hair as well, so this really lightens the weight on the back. And despite it being really back heavy anyway with 4 large pieces of hair, she's still able to hold her head somewhat well. I mean, it is still quite heavy, but it's not super unbalanced. Moving down to her outfit, like I already said, it's very nicely sculpted. All the red lines and metallic gold is very nicely painted on. And then the sculpt looks really nice as well. You have all the folds in the dress. And then of course you have the ribbon on the back as well, which is a softer material. So you shouldn't worry about that breaking too easily. And then the whole skirt itself is a softer material, but it's still quite solid. But the way it's sculpted is quite wide, so it shouldn't hinder too much of her leg articulation. And then of course you have a pouch here as well, which is really small but very nicely sculpted and painted. So for articulation, the neck is on a single ball joint, so she can look down very slightly, but due to the sculpt of her hair, it kind of restricts any movement really going forward. And that's the same going back because of her massive collar, and it is a solid piece, so she's not really going to look up all too much, which I guess helps a bit with the weight of the hair. But she can tilt her head side to side as well as twist. And then moving on to the hair, this piece here is on a hinge, so you can move her hair side to side, but it does kind of unbalance the figure a bit. And then each strand of hair is on a ball joint, so you can move it back and forth, side to side. And they can twist them as well, and that's for all 4 of them. So you can really do some dynamic poses with the hair. This is a minor gripe, but her front piece of the hair is relatively loose, so it does kind of come undone a bit. So that's just the minor gripe, but it isn't my main gripe, which I'll get to in a bit. The shoulder is on a ball joint, so you can move her arm about however you like. And this is quite a solid piece, so it is going to restrict quite a bit of movement. But she still has the hinge, so you can bring her arm out slightly to the side. And you can bring her arm forward, bring her arm back, and then she does have the bicep swivel, but it's quite stiff. She has a single jointed elbow, and then she has the ball jointed wrist. And then for the torso, it's on a ball joint, and this is where my main gripe comes from, is that it's pretty loose. So it's on a ball joint, so she can lean forward very slightly, lean back slightly, lean side to side, as well as twist. And as I'm moving it, it comes undone really easily. And for whatever reason, it just has a really difficult time staying in there. So it does get really frustrating when posing her because she likes to split in half a lot of the times. And of course the front piece of the hair falls off quite a bit as well. So there is definitely some QC issues with this figure, mainly with the waist and the hair not staying in place. But moving on, her hips are on a ball joint, so you can move her legs about how you want, as well as twist. And then each leg is on a ball joint, so she can kick about that far to the side, kick about that far forward, kick back that much, and then she has the single jointed knee, but you can't really get the full motion just because the skirt blocks the leg. But she does have the thigh swivel. And then moving down to her ankle, it's on a ball joint, so you can go back that much, forward that much. You can lean side to side as well as twist. So for the most part, she has all the articulation you'd expect a Figuarts figure to have, but she is a bit restricting in some areas, mainly with the head, the shoulders, and I guess the waist as well. So for the most part, she is quite restricting, but you should still be able to get all the poses you'd want. Well, that's the figure. Let's take a look at the accessories. For faces, she comes with a default smiling face. A smiling face with a mouth slightly opened. A winking face. And an angry shouting face. For hands, she comes with a pair of open palmed hands, a pair of fists, 2 chopping hands, 1 styled posing hand, another styled posing hand, again another styled posing hand, a pair of hands to hold her weapon, and then a hand to hold the pad. And then she also comes with a pair of hands to create her A symbol, which is all one piece. And then she also comes with an extra neck joint, which doesn't have the hinge, so it helps support her head. So it's definitely nice to have this with this figure. She also comes with a pad, nicely detailed and sculpted. And then she comes with a main weapon, which is very nicely detailed and sculpted. But I think it would be nice if the lipstick was made from translucent plastic, but the metallic still works. And then she comes with the same weapon, but extended. And then finally she comes with display base, which is pretty much needed for this figure. So my final thoughts are, overall this is an improvement over the Doki Doki Precure figures. She's much more sturdy and feels much more solid. And then the main complaint I had with the Doki Doki figures was that their legs were always really loose and they always had trouble keeping their balance. But with Cure Ace, the leg joints are much more tighter and then they're much more stable to support the figure. But because of her heavy hair on the back, she does have trouble standing still, so I do recommend using the stand with this figure. And then with the gripes I said about the loose hair and then the waist always easily coming off, it does detract from the figure, and then it definitely shows that there is some QC issues with this figure. But other than that, she's still a really nice looking figure. It's nicely sculpted and detailed. The range of articulation is relatively decent as well, and overall this is just a really nice representation of the character. But she is a web exclusive figure, so she is more pricey, but if you can find her for a decent price, and if you're a fan of this character, then I can still recommend this figure. That's my review. Thank you for watching, and enjoy some pictures.